OTAs always brings a lot of news, hope, and excitement around your team that you follow. In this year's OTAs, it seems like one thing has been prevailing. This offensive line is very confident, but how confident should they be? We're going to talk about that, plus dive into the mailbag and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host there, Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today, y'all. And yeah, man, hey, it seems like right now, OTAs have brought a lot, right? We know that, there's confidence in this defensive line, there's confidence in the offensive line. Ben Johnson and his coaching staff have really set a tone. On yesterday's episode, I really focused more about the coaching and what the coaching has brought to OTAs as far as from a clarity level and expectation level, and how that's definitely going to help the Chicago Bears move forward into what they're trying to do, and that's win some damn football games. But a huge important part of that as well, it comes down to the offensive line. The offensive line that this Bears team spent a lot of money to overhaul, right, to bring in new talent. And there's tons of confidence, not only from the players on the offensive line, but also the coaching staff. We heard that over the last week that this coaching staff is not really as concerned with the left tackle position as what was previously noted. Now, that's between being able to move Darnell right there, between being able to, confidence in Kieran Amagaje and Ozzie Trapillo, even Braxton Jones, even though he hasn't been able to get out on the field yet, right? But I think when you look at it, you want to look at the veterans. The interior offensive linemen that we brought in here, Drew Dahlman, Jonah Jackson, Joe Thuney, these guys are already understanding what tone that they need to set here, and that's what the Bears need, right, when it comes down to it. Hearing this from Joe Thuney. Drew and Jonah are great guys. They work relentlessly. Weight room, field room, every part of the game, you can tell how passionate they are for the game. It's cool that these guys would be here for a couple of years. It's been great working with them. Listen, when you want and you need chemistry on that offensive line, right? And Braxton and Darnell Wright, who, have their own questions around them, or even if it's Ozzie Trapillo, Kieran Amagaje, these guys have, between coaching, between lack of talent overall on the offensive line and just disappointment, that's really what it's been for them as the success of an offensive line. Darnell Wright has shown some flashes. Braxton Jones has played solidly. At times, he has his own shortcomings. We got a couple of voicemails on him when we get into the mailbag portion, but the experience that the Bears brought here on that interior is going to hopefully make things easier on whoever's the left and right tackle, right? Well, it seems like Darnell Wright's definitely going to be a starter here, right? No question about that. The question is, are they going to move him to the left side? I hope they don't. But, when it comes down to it, getting in rhythm, that's what OTAs, that's what training camp, that's what mandatory mini camps, that's what all those things are about. And I think that that's what this team has used this OTA period really to establish, right? That offensive line. Especially Drew Dahlman. I've said this for the last couple of years. Not having competent center play, it hurts your team more than you realize. The center is the only person to touch the play on every single down, regardless, right? The center's going to touch the ball. There are even some plays and some situations where the quarterback may not touch the ball on a play, right? Depending on how they snap it, if they want to get creative, things like that. So, you center touches the ball every single time. The Bears have been so incompetent at the center position for a long time that I wonder what this is going to look like, right? What this is going to feel like, having some competent play on that offensive line, and we'll see what happens when it comes down to it, right? Ben Johnson, acknowledging, for example, even with Darnell Wright, that nothing's set in stone, but seems like he's going to be staying at the right tackle position, which is really good, right? Darnell Wright is another player that, through his first 2 years in the league, he's shown some flashes. He's had some struggles as well as the offensive line has struggled. Everything's not been perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but now having the guys in the interior offensive line that they're bringing here, that's going to be great, right? That's going to be good for him in his development to have a guy like Jonah Jackson or Joe Thuney, if he does switch sides, having those guys out there with him, going to battle with him. That's important, I think, in this case, right? So the offensive line is the thing that coming out of last year, out of training camp, OTAs, I had huge questions and concerns about the offensive line. Now I think the question about the offensive line shouldn't be, are they going to be competent? Now, that's not the thing. Are they going to be good? How good are they going to be, right? That's the question that we have here with this offensive line. And that is it may not sound word-wise like that's a big shift, but that is a considerable shift. To shift from, are we going to be good, to shift to, okay, how good can we be, right? That is a big swing, especially for where the Chicago Bears have been as a franchise on that offensive line. And that's something that they're going to have to answer on the football field. And depth matters into that as well. Like, you can have a great starting offensive line, but if you don't have competent guys that can come in there and fill in as the depth on that offensive line, then you can only go so far as well. You need depth. You have to have that depth. If you don't have it, things are just going to continue to go left for you. So watching and seeing how this Bears offensive line, how the chemistry builds, how everything happens between them, but also the depth pieces, right? Whether it's Braxton Jones or Ozzie Trapillo or Karen Amagaje, whoever ends up being that swing tackle, whoever it ends up being, you have to have competent play from those guys, right? Ryan Bates, does he stick around? Doug Kramer, no more fullback stupidness with you. You're now the backup center. What are you bringing, right? What are you learning from Drew Dahlman as well, right? We brought in Luke Newman as well. Ricky Stromberg is still here. Bill Murray is a guy that we still brought back here. So now, like I said, the shift in now, all right, is this offensive line how are they even going to be good? How good can they be? And that's the question that we're going to have to get once we get on the football field, because I tell you what, if you get an above average offensive line from the Bears, with all the weapons that we have, Caleb is going to have to hit his development as well. But if you get those things going, now the run game we have a little bit of question about, but that's directly tied to the offensive line too. I've said it before. Hell, Crimson has said it. When you have a good offensive line, you can get more out of your running game regardless of who's there. I'm not saying they could turn a turd into a diamond, but you can still get a little bit better out of there, especially where the base that you start off for. So we'll see where that comes. But, it's good to be in a position where now I'm not talking and asking, is this offensive line going to be anything? I can ask now, all right, how good are we about to be? How good is this offensive line about to be for the Chicago Bears? What's going to come around to it? And I can't wait to see how it comes out, right? Now, Ben Johnson also laid out one of the things that I was really excited about is the announcement of the joint practices. I think joint practices with other teams are a key part of any offseason for any team. You can measure yourself up against other teams, regardless of how good those teams are or not. Just getting different faces in there in practice where you're not going up against your own guys. That's why they usually get fired up, right? That's why joint practices usually get a little bit testy, and you start seeing not necessarily a fight, but shoving matches, things like that. So we have joint practices with the Dolphins and with the Bills this year. And Ben Johnson talked about the plan in that. The Dolphins is going to be before the August 10th game, and the Bills is going to be before the August 17th game. But they said this. The plan is to just be one day with each of those teams. The way I view those in the past have been, it's a good opportunity to break up camp a little bit of a controlled setting, yet high intensity. I think the competitive nature of just about anybody, once you get in between those white lines against an opponent like that, it goes up another notch. That'll be good. It'll be at that point in training camp where we've had, call it 12, 13, 14 practices, and just a little bit different will be good for us, for everybody, coaches and players alike. It'll be fun to go against a different scheme, the thought process, the problems that arise, the way, but also for our players being able to compete against different opponents. The controlled setting of it is really important. I'm excited for both those opportunities. I'm excited too, Ben. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm excited too, Ben, because everything that Ben Johnson just said, again, this is why I love Ben Johnson right now from what we know about him from a mentality standpoint. And that's all we have to go off of, right? So we haven't had a game yet. We haven't had the scheme yet or anything like that. But just from the point of the mentality that Ben Johnson brings from a competitive nature as a head coach, that reverberates through your whole entire team, right? And so the fact that he's welcoming that he understands the challenges and just a little bit of a different mix-up for the team and what that could bring for him, that's important. That's really important. So these joint practices, I can't wait to hear about. We're still far as hell away from them, right? We're not even in June yet. We're talking about practices that are going to happen in August, right? So even though June's right around the corner, but so that we got a long way to go before we get there. But the process in getting there is going to be fun. We're going to be watching everything. Of course, we're going to be talking about any and all details to come out of OTAs and mini camps and all that type of stuff. But it's getting real. Mandatory mini camps are next week. So we're getting people in the building. Everybody's going to be in the building. And the details football-wise to come out of next week are going to be some of the most important ones that we've heard all offseason. And while there's been signs of concern, like Caleb Williams not attacking the middle like you would want to right now, right? Like those type of things are there. But then hearing Cole Kmet's had a really good practice, excitement about joining with Colston Loveland. The defense it seems like to be in a really good spot as well, taking on that identity of Dennis Allen. Things are going in the right direction for the Bears, but they got to keep going in the right direction in August once the season starts, because if it doesn't happen then, when we're playing actual football games, all this was for nothing yet again. But all right, let's me stop yapping. Let's go ahead and get into the voicemails for today, man. This one's from Fred.
Yo, hey, what up, my brothers? This be your boy Fred, man. Last week when I had called in, I did forget that we did have Grady Jarrett on his team, though. I was just saying, like, like kind of hearing good news about that boy Shamar Turner, though. But yeah, man, all this, negative hate shit coming for Caleb all of a sudden, man. And it's funny that soon people see, like, low-key, they like that. I think the Bears are going to be good. They got to find the right coaches. Now they're going to come out with this, well, Caleb said he didn't want to come to the Bears. Oh, we know that. Like, us Bears fans, we knew that, and we weren't too mad at him or too hype over him because he didn't want to come to Chicago at the time. Okay, now he's here. They need to move the fuck on and leave this man alone and let this man, get his game together and everything and be a franchise quarterback for this team. And I don't get, like, why y'all bringing all this stuff up? And then on top of that, he was left off the top 25 quarterback list. I want to know which other quarterbacks is better than him, because I probably can go down that list and I can look at every quarterback on that list that ain't better than him. And I'm surprised and shocking by that. Like, they left him off that list, though. But I think, the Bears is going to turn around. They're going to turn this season around. They're going to shock everybody, I'm not, I'm like, yeah, I'm a little excited at the same time. I'm not getting overexcited like I did over previous years and everything. And also, man, the Bears got to stop being winners in the off season. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we undefeated in the off season and making signings, whatever, though. But at the end of the day, they got to stop want to be off season, champions, want to be actual NFC North champions, NFC, champions, possibly, Super Bowl champions. They got to go in there with that mind frame and mentality. Because now y'all got the coaches. The coaches is coaching these guys. I'm glad these coaches is actually coaching, and these guys ain't afraid of them. They're accepting it, because the last coaching staff, they wasn't giving them guys, what they wanted. So I'm glad that Ben Johnson and the staff is holding these guys to a high standard and accountability as well, just like the coach taking accountability as well. Because that way, when you got coaches like that, that makes your team a success. That makes that coach a success, and the players as well. So, only thing we can do, man, is just, see what the Bears don't do this season. So, I'm hearing bits and pieces, but I'm with you. Like, I'm waiting to see, with action. I want to see action. So, man, let me know what you think, my brother. Chicago up, bear down to nothing. Let's get it.
Hey, listen, Shamar Turner is, I think, going to be a monster. I do think he's going to earn rotational snaps for sure here. I think that Dennis Allen is going to want to use that combination of speed and strength a lot here for that. Now, he's going to be probably fourth on the depth chart. That's perfectly fine. But we're going to see how he's going to grow, how he's going to develop over that time. As far as the drama around Caleb Williams, it is what it is at this point. Like, I'm glad that he addressed it the way that he addressed it head on in that press conference, and that's the most important thing, right? But the thing that I want to stick on and focus on so much is stop being winners in the preach, my boy. Stop being winners in the offseason. And listen, I'm tired of winning the offseason. I'm tired of having these feel good moments in the offseason, but then when the season starts, it's a bunch of shit. Right? I'm tired of that. I want to see this team actually put butts in seats, man. Let's go out there and win some football games, right? That's the most important thing. And I think for once it's a different feel around this Bears team this year. And that's the great part. It does feel different. Now, we got to see that feeling. We got to have that once the games start, right? Because very often it's starting to feel different, but then the feeling goes away 5-6 games into the season. So let's hope that we're able to do that. But this really does feel like there's a shift for the Chicago Bears. Let's just get that shift on the field. All right, let's get into the next one, man. This one's from Keys.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Keys on this lovely Wednesday evening, man. Hope all is well with you guys. Now, with that, let's get to it. Man, today has been a really good day. The sun is out, and Caleb Williams finally addressed the media, man. And I got to say, he's making me more of a fan of him and taking ownership of some bull crap that came along. There was also some things where, you know what, the Chicago media, like 670 to score, and then like the other little things that's going on, bro, like the national media besides that, the Chicago media, look, either y'all going to be fans and cheer on this team, or y'all going to be like the rest of them, and we can say, fuck you. That's how I look at it. But, I really like the way he handled that situation when the person asked him, does your dad, run the stuff? Look, the man 23, and I know for me, as a black man having my father around, my dad don't run me. He never ran me. He just taught me how to be a man, how to handle myself. He advises him. You know what I'm saying? So, like, all the emotions and everything else, it's like anything with a child that you have, bro, you always going to want the best situation for him because you don't want to see your child fail. You know what I'm saying? And I love how Caleb responded. I love how he told the truth. I believe him, and I think with him and how he is, he's all about forward progress, okay? Everything that he's doing right now, yes, the groundwork is being laid, and having a coach like Ben Johnson is not going to do nothing but excel his progress, and he mentions it like, hey, there's never been a 4,000-yard passer. There hasn't been nobody throw for 30 touchdowns. Yet, whatever the yards that I had this past year and the 20 touchdowns is not of the standard that I want to be. He wants greatness. He wants this. Instead of trying to look for things to downplay, and I think it's just a black quarterback thing, looking for things to downplay, man, lift this motherfucker up, bro. He's behind the city. He want to get it done, man. And I'm all behind him just as much as I was behind Justin Fields. I am behind Caleb Williams, 1,000%. And I believe that he's going to do a lot of shit. He got a cannon right now, bro, that's like, yo, I think it's going to be one of them seasons like when Patrick Mahomes finally stepped in and started for the Chiefs. Not going to say it's going to be that many yards, but you're going to see a different Caleb Williams this year. But let me know what y'all think. Chi-town up, bear down.
Caleb shutting down rumors is really all he can do. He handled that the best way that he could. He handled that in everything that he could literally do. He shut down the rumors. He talked about it like you said. I love that he's my father doesn't speak for me. You a grown ass man. And like I said, even in our posting on it, like it'd be different if Caleb Williams' dad was like LeVar Ball, just ever present, always talking, seeming like it's a distraction. And he hasn't been that. Caleb's been here. He's been doing this thing. He's been doing this job, and that's the most important part. Now, let's see how Caleb steps up in year 2. That's the thing that I'm focused on. All the drama about him winning or not, I don't care. He's here now. He's the quarterback, and I'm going to root for him as long as he is a Chicago Bear quarterback. Go out there, play your football game. Go out there, let's win some games, and let's grow. Caleb Williams has a lot of growth that he has to do this year, and the Bears have done an adamant job as far as fixing the things around Caleb. Now, Caleb, how do you go out there? Spotlight's on you, my boy. Spotlight was always going to be on you. You're a starting quarterback in the NFL. What are you going to bring? And I guess that's what we'll see, right? All right, let's get into this next one, man. This one's from Dre.
Hey, Bobby, C-Dub, Steve-O, Big Kev, Cognac Boys. This is your boy Dre calling from the McKinley Park. I'm just sitting back listening to today's episode with that Hayes is hosting about questions about Caleb Williams, but that's not what I'm calling about. What I'm calling about is what Jeff Hughes is reporting about Braxton Jones. Now, people think I hate Braxton Jones or I just got this vendetta against Braxton Jones. I don't. I wish Braxton Jones nothing but the best, but it's just not in Chicago. The man has no anchor, Hayes. He has no anchor. He gets pushed on his ass every time. He has no anchor. Now, is he the worst left tackle? No, but he damn sure ain't a starter. And he not the greatest, and he damn sure not a starter either. He's a swing tackle, and there's nothing wrong with that. But let me know what you think about that. Chi-town up, that I am.
For Braxton, it's real interesting with the Braxton thing, right? Because you get people, and I love that you also said, like, yeah, he's not horrible, right? Because he's not. I hate it when I see people try to paint him out like he's like the worst thing to ever be on an offensive line. He's not that. He can't handle the bull rush. He has some issues with penalties that I would admit he's gotten a little bit better in penalties, but for people that also act like you can't upgrade from Braxton Jones, you're crazy, right? Because they're absolutely upgrades from Braxton Jones. So, even people that are saying like, oh, he's a top 15 left tackle. It's like, if you go and look at some of the top left tackles, you don't have, like, the left tackle list isn't very deep as far as some of the best tackles in football. So I'm just saying, it is what it is. There are some great ones, make no mistake about it. So, when it comes down to it, Braxton, it's on him, right? He's going to have an opportunity to win the starting position. If he wins it under this coaching staff, I'm going to trust it. If he won the left tackle position under the last coaching staff, I'd have some questions there. But I'm going to trust what Dan Roushar, and Ben Johnson and those guys come up with. Declan Dory, I'm going to trust them. And if Braxton comes out of that the starter, cool. If he doesn't, cool. Braxton's still going to he's not going to fade away into the night. Braxton's still absolutely going to have a place on this team and being a swing tackle, like you said, and he could very well thrive in that role. So we'll see what happens for Braxton. Overall, I got I want to see everybody on this team do well. That's it. I want to see everybody do well. All right, let's get into the next one, man. This one's from Xavier.
What's going on, guys? This is Xavier calling in, man. I just wanted to speak on the whole Brad Biggs article about Caleb Williams. At this point, I think he's just writing some shit to write it at this point, bro. Because why are we still bringing up his rookie season? I understand that, yes, it wasn't the best, and we understand that we all have questions about him, and he's not above criticism. That's not what I'm saying. I get it, bro. He has to get better, but we can't keep on talking about the film study and bro, the coaches weren't even watching film with them, first of all. And I get it. Yes, you don't need the coach to be there to tell you to watch film, but at the same point in time, what am I like? That's their job to help correct what we see on the film. So even if I'm missing something as a player, the coaches are still supposed to be there to correct it. So even if he was watching film by himself, like, bro, he's probably not seeing everything that he needs to correct and everything that's wrong. So I feel like, bro, a lot of the articles and criticisms of Caleb Williams come from people who just don't really fuck with him, or they don't like certain things that he does. They don't like his attitude. But that's no reason to just write a fucking article because, bro, like, let's talk about, okay, like last week when Hayes was saying, oh, he didn't, that it was reports that Caleb didn't look that good during the mini camps and stuff like that. Okay, yeah, that's fine because that's current. That's what's going on right now. We can't harp on shit from last year. And secondly, I wanted to talk about the Kevin Byard impact. I love to hear the vet coming out, bro. He seems like he's way more comfortable with this thing, and we need that. We need veterans who want to be here, veterans who are speaking out about, like, it's not like Byard has been on just horrible teams his whole career. He had some okay teams in Tennessee, not the best, but obviously he's won some with Mike Vrabel. So he's seen some great winning or whatnot in that organization. So him stepping up and being a voice for us, I love, and I would love for him to lead those guys in the secondary to be even better and blossom to be what they can be. But, man, that's all I got to say, man. I just feel like a lot of these articles and shit about Caleb is kind of crazy, bro. But, yeah, man, it's just like, okay, I understand what happened last year, but we moving on from that, bro. We in a new regime, new era. Chicago up, bear down.
Brad Biggs' report on Caleb and the questions around Caleb Williams. Listen, there are legit criticisms of Caleb Williams for sure, right? And that's fine. Nobody's saying that Caleb Williams is in a spot, or nobody should be saying Caleb Williams is in a spot where you can't criticize him. No, as long as he's a quarterback in the NFL, guess what? He's going to get criticism. It's not going to stop no matter how people feel about him, no matter how many games he wins or loses. The criticism's always going to be there. It's every single day, every single season, every single game, it's going to be there, right? And there are some legit. But it does seem like sometimes from certain fans and certain writers that it's a little bit more loaded than just a legit criticism standpoint. But at the end of the day, go out there and win. That's the most important thing. If he wins, a lot of people are going to shut up, right? But as far as Kevin Byard's impact on the team, like, yes, Kevin Byard has been huge for this team. The Bears have done a pretty good job at getting really good vets. They've made some mistakes, make no mistake about it as well. Nate Davis was one of those, right? They've made mistakes, but generally, when they bring in veterans, usually those veterans come in and they play a really good role, and they know exactly what they need to do. Kevin Byard's one of those guys. Kevin Byard has come in here and paid huge dividends for the Bears and how he's been able to play with them. And hopefully him and Jaquan Brisker can be that tandem that they showed signs of being last year, right? For a full season. Hopefully we can get that because I do think that can be a transcendent secondary, right? Let's hope that we can get that, especially under Dennis Allen. Man, that has a chance to be a very dangerous secondary. So we'll see what shakes out there. All right, let's get into the last voicemail for today. This one's from Chris Evans.
Hey, Bobby Seed up, Hayes. Big Kevin Steele. What's going on, y'all? It's Chris Evans. I'm just calling back. I was listening to today's May 27th. I was listening to the video that dropped yesterday about Hayes responding to Darius's comment about changing positions with Rojo, and I know y'all joking. It's all fun and games, but no, I wouldn't go too hard on that because honestly, how Darius feels about Rojo, playing fullback, I kind of feel the same way about Tremaine playing middle linebacker because I'm not saying Tremaine has made a few plays. He's been okay. I will say more often than not, on the defense side, he does disappear. But I will say this. Him playing middle linebacker has opened up more chances for TJ Edwards to make plays, which is cool on top of what he's done. But from what I know back in his days playing with the Bills, Tremaine is more of an outside linebacker. I think he's predominantly right, but they moved into the middle because they thought he was a ball hawk, and I think he is, but I think he's more of primarily maybe a run stopper, and then I think his secondary skill is playing in zone, maybe 10, 15 yards off the ball. So, I'm kind of there. I mean, I believe that if Rojo takes care of himself, he can have a few plays as fullback. But again, it's all health concern. We do have other running backs to replace him. Same thing with linebackers. We need a true middle linebacker so we can put Tremaine Edmunds back where he's supposed to be, which is, I would say, maybe opposite of TJ. I think TJ's on the right, so put him on the left and see what happens. So that way the middle guy can open up for either one of them. And then that gives backup for Stevenson and Jalen Johnson when they're on the field too. So let me know what you guys think about moving Tremaine Edmunds back to an outside linebacker and see if that'll be more effective. Chicago up, fair enough.
I agree with everything you said on Tremaine. No notes. Tremaine has been made the middle linebacker where that was always the question that we had here, right? As far as him being the middle linebacker, it seemed like Jack Sanborn was better at the middle. Tremaine was better on the outside. But, him and TJ Edwards have built a decent chemistry. And I think what you're going to see in Dennis Allen's system specifically and how they're going to fluctuate that third linebacker, I think that you're still going to see a time where you can put Tremaine in his best situations, his best skill set, and play into his strengths. That's really what you want to see from all these players. Play to your strengths. And that's what you want to see from the coaching staff. Put these players in the situation where what they do best is maximize. And you hopefully have some coverage for the things that they lack at. And so Tremaine is in an interesting scenario because next year it's going to be very difficult unless he has a great season to keep him around with the money that the Bears could save on a cap hit for him, on cutting his contract. So, we'll see how the Bears play it out, but I hope Tremaine has a great year. I think he's going to be able to thrive more in coverage. I think they're going to be able to use him more to their strengths, and Dennis Allen's really going to be a coach that puts people in the best situation. So hopefully we see the best season yet from Tremaine Edmunds in a Chicago Bears uniform. Hopefully. But that's my time for today, guys. Make sure you guys are following us at Shy Bears Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related, but that's thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, Bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.